So now we're going to move on to solving equations where we have variables on both sides of the actual equation, so or the equal sign. So these are similar to the distributive property. Some of them involve them as well, but it's the same steps. Just we have to get the variables on both sides, or on the same side after we're on both sides to start with. So if you look at this first question here, what we got here is we've got 13x minus 9 is equal to 11x plus 13. So the very first thing we need to do is we need to go ahead and get the x's so they're all on one side. I like to do that by getting the positive x's there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract 11x from both sides. When I do that, I end up with 2x plus 9 is equal to, this now cancels out, 13. So now what I need to do is what I've been doing before in the previous things, where all I'm going to do is now isolate the variables. So it's the only thing on one side of the equation. So I've got to subtract 9 from both sides of the equation. When I do that, I'm left with 2x is equal to 4. And now I'm going to divide both sides by 2. And when I do that, I'm left with x is equal to 2. If I plug that out there, I'll see that this is this part here would be 26 plus 9, so that would be 35, and then this part here would be 22 plus 13, so that's 35. So checking my answers, it shows that it's right. For this next problem here, what I'm going to do is, again, I need to get these terms so they're on the same side, because then I can simplify them. The way I'm going to do that is I'm going to add 3x to both sides. When I add 3x to both sides, I end up with negative 25, because this cancels out, is equal to 5x plus 3x is 8x minus 1. So now what do I have to do? I have to isolate that variable. So I'm going to add 1 to both sides of the equation.
0 rows in, please.
So now I'm going to add this together, and I end up with negative 24 is equal to 8x. So I'm going to divide both sides by 8. And when I do that, I'm going to end up with x is equal to negative 3. If I plug that in up here, you're going to see negative 3 times negative 3, that's going to be 9 minus 25, so that's going to be negative 16, and then negative 3 times 5 is going to be negative 15 minus 1 is going to be negative 16. So now these two problems, so these two ones that are up here, these are kind of the standard ones with the normal answers. The two next ones are a little bit special cases, so you need to pay really close attention to see what happens when you solve these. So for this one here, I need to distribute that 6 to start with. So it's going to be 6 times 1, which is 6, plus 30y. 30y is equal to 30y minus 2. So I need to isolate the variables, so I'm going to get things so they're all on the same
Frank,
side.
north door, please.
So I'm going to subtract 30y from both sides. I subtract 30y from both sides. What I end up with is something kind of funny. Because this cancels out, this also cancels out. I'm left with 6 is equal to negative 2. That doesn't work. So what ends up happening is that in this case here, there is no solution that would work for x. So that's a special case, because I can never have 6 equal to negative 2. So no matter what value I put in for y in this case, or what value I put in for y, it's not going to work. This one here is a special case as well. And what happens in this one is, I go ahead and distribute that 7, and so I rewrite this negative 14 plus 7x is equal to 7 times x, so that's 7x. And then 2 times, it's like 2 times negative, so 7 times negative 2, or actually just, I subtract 14 in this case here. And so now, when I try and get the x's so they're on the same side of the equation, I'm left with the following. Negative 14 is equal to negative 14. In this case here,
Lucy Bell.
all numbers are a solution. So everything works. Every value of x works for that, no matter what value you choose. We're going to do one more problem here, just to make sure that this makes sense. So here I've got 3x plus 5 is equal to negative 10x minus 2, and that whole thing is times 2. So I've got to distribute that 2 first of all. So I rewrite the problem. 3x plus 5 is equal to 2 times 10 is 20x minus 4. Now, by the way, I need to make this announcement. The color of the day is blue. That's just for the quiz for the form. So remember that the color of the day is blue. So remember that, put that on the form. So let's solve the rest of the problem now. So it's 3x plus 5 is equal to 20x minus 4. So I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. When I do that, I end up with 5 is equal to 17x minus 4. So I'm going to add 4 to both sides. I end up with 9 is equal to 17x. So I'm going to divide both sides by 17. I'm left with x is equal to 9 divided by 17. And that's my final answer. So remember, just get the things, get the variables on the same side of the equation, then just follow through on the steps and distribute numbers outside the parentheses as needed. Those are really the first steps, and then move on from there.